Hey guys, what's going on? Steven back again, and I'm back with another 40k video from Major Kill. And the topic for today's video is the disturbing fall of the Emperor's Children. I kind of like the Emperor's Children as a traitor legion. I think Fulgrim is a pretty interesting character. I mean, his model looks awesome. You know, I mean, come on, a four-armed winged snake. That's pretty cool. But I have heard in some different videos, I don't remember if it's a Major Kill or not, or just other 40k videos in general, that Fulgrim is just a pretty shitty traitor Primarch. I don't know if they meant like he's not a good duelist, if he's not a good tactician, or if he's just poorly written. I don't know, but I've heard some people say like he's just terrible, you know? So I'm not sure about that, but I mean, at least his model looks cool and stuff like that. I think their paint scheme is pretty cool, you know? I think that's pretty awesome. I have heard about Noise Marines. I don't know the lore behind them, which I'm very curious about. Same thing with their weaponry. I have seen, you know, of course there is the old model and stuff like that with the guitar, and I believe, I'm sure you've all probably seen, like, I think it's a Noise Marine, the famous picture of, what is it, I think there's the Sister of Battle is in front, and she's got her eyes, like, sideways, and right behind her is I don't know if it's a Noise Marine or just a Emperor's Children Space Marine behind her, just doing the... So I mean, that's pretty cool. But yeah, I'd like to learn the lore on Noise Marines and stuff like that. And then of course we come to Lucius the Eternal, another interesting character. I guess also pretty shitty as well. Yes, he continues to come back, you know, like if you kill him in like one-on-one combat or something like that, you know, and you take pride or joy or, you know, revel in defeating him, then you now become Lucius the Eternal. You know, he slowly starts to, you know, come out from you. But I've also heard, I don't know if it's true or not, like if Lucius steps on a landmine and blows himself up, then the person who assembled said landmine can become Lucius. I don't know if that's true or not, but that does seem pretty... That seems pretty shitty. That seems pretty cheesy. Like, I can understand one-on-one dueling and stuff like that. Okay, you know, alright. But some dude hundreds of thousands of miles away on another planet working an assembly line all of a sudden just becomes him because he stepped on the landmine the dude assembled. That seems a little... I don't know, it just seems a little cheesy. But I don't know, that's just some of the things, you know, my opinions and stuff like that. I don't know if that's all true or not. You guys will have to let me know if, you know, Fulgrim is just a, you know, terrible traitor Primarch. He's just, nobody's really written him pretty well or anything like that. Same thing with Lucius the Eternal. You know, is that true about if he steps on a landmine, the dude who assembled said landmine becomes him? Let me know if that's true or not. But hopefully with, I think they're getting a range refresh, I believe, in a new codex. Hopefully, you know, new books and stuff like that. I'm sure there'll be new books, but, you know, hopefully they'll be well written, you know, because I guess some writers are much better than others and stuff like that. So, who knows? We'll have to see. So anyways, let's get on to the video and learn about the disturbing fall of the Emperor's Children. I do wonder what is so disturbing about it. So let's find out. Here we go.
G'day guys and gals. Something that's a real head scratcher to many of us is why the traitor legions actually embrace chaos. After all, the Primarchs were supposed to be geniuses, with Space Marines themselves being smart as hell. Surely they would have been like, eternal damnation, not my vibe. Well, the truth is virtually every single traitor legion was either tricked, heavily pressured, or outright forced to sell their souls to hell. Mortarion was
Really?
trapped into Nurgle's realm and was turbo-slapped with space aids until he surrendered.
Forced?
Angron was turned into a demon without his consent. Horus
Really?
joined Chaos after getting shanked with a Chaos knife that would have killed him if he didn't relent. Magnus was
Really?
manipulated to hell by Titsnitch to fall. It goes on. The only faction other than the
Did not know
Word-Bearers,
that.
who themselves are also tricked to a degree, but wholeheartedly embraced Chaos, even after seeing it for what it really was.
I did not know
were
that.
the Emperor's children. So why do they fall the hardest? And no, it wasn't just because Fulgrim picked up a penis-shaped demon sword. Before we get started, the first thing people see when they look at you is your face. While you can't exactly choose your face,
But
you
yeah,
can make
I
it
did
the
not
best
know
it
that
can
about
be
the other
by
Primarchs,
using
that some of
skincare
them were
routine.
forced and stuff
Ideally
like
from
that.
today's
I knew there was some
sponsor,
that were
Geology,
tricked,
your
but I didn't know about,
acne-ridden,
you know, some being
pale,
forced
flushed,
into it.
oily skin isn't
That's
just
pretty
unfortunate
interesting.
genetics. It's actually mostly skin hygiene. Thus, pretty much all of these unwanted face glitches can be easily minimized.
But yeah,
or
I'm
outright
very curious
eliminated
about
with a skincare routine.
why the Emperor's
However,
children
choosing what to use or how to use it can be a bit of a head scratcher.
fell the hardest, and what
Hence,
makes it so
Geology takes
disturbing
the
about
guesswork by
it.
getting you to fill out a quick survey before then sending a custom skincare routine to your doorstep with easy to follow instructions. I've been using Geology for years now, and my skin has never looked better. I really used to struggle with oily skin and dark circles. Now I have absolutely zero insecurities about those. Geology isn't just skincare though. It's a variety of hygiene products such as shampoos, body washes and deodorants, all of which use a variety of natural, easy on the body ingredients. So to get a massive 70% off your first skincare package, as well as 30% off an additional product of your choice, then use my link and code MAGICAL70. I promise you will not regret at least giving it a go. Cheers to Geology for sponsoring this video. Today we'll go over the disturbing fall of the Emperor's Children Legion in detail, discussing why it was a lot more than just Fulgrim playing with a demon sword, and how they have since become by far the most depraved and horrific Chaos Legion. As a bonus,
Well, I guess
we can
that has
also
to do with,
discuss
you
some of
know,
the
them
most
following
satisfying deaths
Slaanesh.
and humiliations of the most wanky, depraved space marines from this legion. Let's get into it. The first thing you gotta understand about the Emperor's Children is that their Legion philosophy, that being to seek perfection, can be interpreted in two different ways. Which is why you have fucking legends like Saul Tarvitz, Rylanor, and Solomon Demeter, as well as total wankers like Lucius, Eidolon, and Marius. The basic philosophy was that the Emperor's children should always strive for self-improvement, to be the best they can be, worthy of the title of their legion, and to be a shining example of what others should aspire to be like. As a whole, this is a big reason as to why the Emperor's children were always trying to be the best warriors, the best artists, the best at sucking these nuts. This philosophy was universal for the legion. However, for Emperor's children like Saul, this meant being the best version of himself, not being better or superior to others. The act of seeking perfection but accepting you will never truly achieve it, thus bettering yourself along the way, was what it meant to be an Emperor's children. Saul took pride in himself and his legion, but he didn't let pride become arrogance or vanity. Then you have Lucius, whose goal was not to self-improve necessarily, but to be better than everyone else. He sought perfection with the goal and belief that he would actually achieve it, and until he did, he was insecure and needed to constantly prove himself against others. He too was proud, but in a wanky, arrogant sort of way. Whenever he won, he would boast. Whenever he lost, he would be a salty piece of shit about it and would get really humiliated. Basically always wanting to rematch whoever bested him.
So that would explain if you gloat in killing him, you become him.
These interpretations, which is why the dickhead Eidolon was Lord Commander, despite being a fucking wanker. Fulgrim wanted to be this humble paragon of self-improvement to inspire people to be the best version of themselves, but he was also deeply insecure and always felt the need to prove his superiority over others. Thus he would show favour to the chillers, like how he made Rylanor the Ancient of Rites and Keeper of the Legion's Soul, whilst also happily promoting dickheads like Julius and Eidolon. To further prove this, the other Lord Commander of the Emperor's Children was Vespasian, and he was like Saul, steadfast, loyal, honourable. So Fulgrim was obviously in two minds about the interpretation of his legion's philosophy. That is the crux of the issue, a divide within the legion that almost no other legion possessed. In most cases prior to the Horus Heresy, the loyalist elements of the traitor legions were good friends with the ones that would betray them. Garvey or Loken had nothing but friendship and respect for Abaddon for most of their lives, but the loyalists of the Emperor's Children saw the future traitors as wankers, whilst the future traitors saw the loyalists as weak and lacking perfection. Now a lot of people point towards Fulgrim picking up the Layer Blade as the beginning of the fall, but it started a lot earlier than that. After all, you put nearly any other Primarch in Fulgrim's position, and they wouldn't have picked up the sword, nor would they let it taint their heart if they did. Chaos
The
uses many
demon
methods
sword.
to worm its way into his soul. For Fulgrim, his arrogance and insecurity, basically his narcissism, was the open invite Slaanesh needed. Some big examples of Fulgrim being a douche prior to the Laren campaign was when he deliberately chose a very painful and wasteful method of bringing a planet into compliance to try prove his superiority over the other legions, just because Leman Russ made a half-hearted challenge. Basically, he arrived at a human-occupied world that was pretty cool with joining the Imperium, so as long as the Imperium treated them with respect. However, Fulgrim wanted to conquer it whilst only using a handful of Legionnaires. So he antagonized the fuck out of parts of the planet to trigger a civil war, then took a massive shit on the world's ancient order of protectors, resulting in mass destruction and a lot of avoidable deaths, where if he was just to arrive with his full Legion strength, engage in standard diplomacy, and then allowed the bureaucrats to take over and integrate the world. It would have been bloodless, but that wouldn't have been cool or worthy of history, unlike conquering the world with only a squad of warriors. The Laren campaign was another example of his arrogance and desire to prove himself. He attacked the Xeno world without letting the Imperial Army elements know, wishing to take the glory for himself. In turn, a fuckload of his legionnaires died that didn't have to. He also wanted to take it quickly, thus more of his sons died. When he found the Laren temple with the Layer Blade within it, there was a shitload of red flags. Firstly, the lizard people were having a massive orgy in the temple, not defending it, whilst the blade itself was clearly of Xeno make and origin. It didn't force him to pick it up. He did so because he thought he could do whatever he wanted. When the blade whispered to him, he originally suspected it could be an external force, but then decided that he was too mentally strong and willful for an outsider to influence him like this. Hence he just assumed the demonic whispers were his subconscious. The sword didn't make Fulgrim an arrogant, insecure asshole. It tilted the balance. Previously, Fulgrim had two sides to him. The side that was close brothers with Ferrus Manus and happily engaged in banter and brotherhood. The side of him that honoured Vespasian, Rylanor and Saul. The side that was reliable, loyal and honourable. Then there was the side that he thought he was better than everyone else and was insecure because his legion was one of the smallest due to Tras in the Infinite stealing their gene seed and the lunar cults giving the rest of the gene seed AIDS. The
so he was just too cocky.
Each other out, making Fulgrim seem like a bit of a pompous wanker, but generally well liked by his brothers with his legion being respected, if not seen as a bit too prideful. However, with the sword, he embraced his arrogance and shed his honour and humility. How did this flow onto his legion? Well, if 30% of them were the good kind, 30% were the wanky kind, and 40% of them were in between and just wanted to emulate and please Fulgrim, then suddenly 70% were now embracing their arrogance and superiority. It was like a snowball effect after that. Fabius being given the green light to invent hectic drugs that made the Emperor's children act like depraved maniacs, thus allowing the influence of Slaanesh to creep in. None of the Emperor's children being scolded for being wanky. Fulgrim rewarding those who sucked his dick the hardest and validated his arrogance. The Legion had not abandoned their philosophy, it just got twisted more and more. Then when the traitors revealed themselves and massacred the loyalist elements of the Emperor's children, they also killed the last of their Legion's honour. The noble side of their philosophy was quite literally killed with bladed bolter. Now there was nothing to remind Fulgrim or his traitorous sons what they had become or how far they had fallen. They felt entitled to everything, including the deepest, greatest sensations. Fulgrim began refusing to enact Legion protocol and stopped caring about traditions. Hence his Legion just started doing whatever the fuck they wanted. Some of them literally merged with large speaker systems and became noise marines. Some started jacking off with sandpaper.
So that explains
others carved their flesh with blade to feel the sensation of pain and pleasure at the same time. They were always chasing the next high, which completely overruled any moral or ethical issue they ever faced. Going deeper into depravity was a challenge to overcome for them, not something they had to stop and consider. They were just chasing that fucking dragon, the dragon being perfection, or as an intellectual might say, dragging these balls on your face. Another big factor to the Emperor's children's massive fall was their utter devotion to Fulgrim. Save for maybe Lorgar, no other Legion gargled their Primarch's balls harder than the Emperor's children. Fulgrim had a strong Primarch aura
so that's why they fell the hardest
for saving the Legion, as they were borderline extinct when he was found, with his DNA allowing for creation of new gene seed, thus saving the Legion. This meant that the Emperor's children's #1 goal was to please Fulgrim and get his approval. They would see Eidolon as Lord Commander
so that
and
makes sense.
emulate him. They would see Saul Tarvitz as a line officer and seek to avoid following his path. When they began falling, they saw that Fulgrim's favoured sons underwent the most transformation and corruption. Hence they would try and match that as well. Ironically, Fulgrim would abandon his Legion at the first chance he got post-heresy, leaving them with severe daddy issues and absolutely zero direction. Hence they've actually become one of the weakest traitor legions, fracturing into multiple random warbands that don't have much cohesion. Seriously though, when was the last time you heard of an Emperor's Children warlord tearing through Imperial space, or the Imperium under threat from the 3rd Legion? Fucking never. The Death Guard almost took
Yeah,
down
it's true.
Ultramar. Can you imagine the Emperor's children even trying? GW have sort of written themselves into a corner here. They can't suddenly make the Legion a new unified threat since it goes against their very core of what it means to drink the entire jug of Chaos Kool-Aid. At least until Fulgrim comes back.
That they
so overall,
backed
it was
themselves
their
into a
already
corner.
flawed interpretation of their philosophy, combined with Fulgrim's own narcissism, as well as his bad choices regarding the Layer Blade, coupled with their intense desire to please Daddy, that took the Emperor's children from the most noble, favoured legion of the Emperor himself, to become the most depraved, reviled degenerates that even the other traitor legions look down on. No other fall comes even close to the contrast of pre-heresy and post-heresy Emperor's children. Now for a bit of a bonus, let's talk about the deaths and humiliations of the main characters in the Emperor's Children. Marius Verosian, the original Noise Marine, was killed by an Iron Hand that he had previously deafened with his noise gun. The Iron Hand's deafness made him immune to the Noise Marine's weapons, hence he was able to line up a shot and end the degenerate's life. Lucius was killed in a fair duel by the Raven Guard swordsman Nakonai Sharakin, who saw Lucius as a rabid dog that needed to be put down rather than a genuine opponent. Lucius never got to have his rematch after being revived, which still grates on him to this very day. Eidolon had his head cut off by Fulgrim in a fit of rage, humiliating him in front of the Legion. Although he got his head reattached and was revived, he's kind of mentally retarded now. Also, he's ugly as fuck. Julius Caesron was able to ascend to become a demon prince, however was recently banished by a bunch of Iron Hands. So overall, each of the main Emperor's children traitors that have either been killed or severely humiliated in their lifetime, including Fulgrim after Raylanor blew his ass up. If you enjoyed the video and you want to support the channel, then Patreon is the place to be, where we have not only a bunch of Slaanesh-approved Battlemace 40 million hentai, but also live-action nude cosplays and hand-drawn Warhammer artworks. Hit the subscribe button and hit the real subscribe button for more depraved content. Join the Discord for more memes and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.
Okay, so there we go. There's the disturbing fall of the Emperor's Children. That was very interesting. You know, I knew a little bit. I didn't know a whole lot, you know, about the strive for perfection and stuff like that. But I didn't know about them breaking up into like small war bands and stuff like that. That does kind of stink that Games Workshop did kind of back themselves into a corner and can't really, like, you know, write, you know, about them like coming back together and stuff like that and kind of reforming. You know, so now there are a whole bunch of like small war bands, which is kind of disappointing because, like you said, you know, Death Guard and stuff like that going after like Ultramar. You know, there's really nothing with Emperor's Children, which is kind of a shame. It does sound kind of like, yeah, some of the writing on it is a little you know, which is kind of a shame. But yeah, I guess, you know, the strive for perfection and stuff like that just completely taking over. Fulgrim just being a little too cocky and stuff like that, and I can do whatever I want. I'm going to take this blade. Yeah, you know, and of course the Space Marines wanting to, you know, satisfy, you know, their father and stuff like that, you know, for coming back and, you know, having the gene seed and making more and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, it was still very interesting. I still think they are a very interesting Traitor Legion and stuff like that. Hopefully, you know, with their range refresh and I think their new codex and stuff, I think a new codex, or they're getting a codex or something like that. Hopefully we get some new books and stuff like that, and, you know, maybe some better writing and stuff like that. Who knows? And then there's also, what, the clone of Fulgrim. There's a clone of him. I'm not sure how that works out and what the said clone thinks about current Fulgrim. You'll have to let me know on that one. I'm not too sure. But, yeah, it is kind of crazy about, you know, their fall and stuff like that, and basically what they've, you know, become into like a small little warband. The legion that apparently all the other traitor legions look down upon, which is kind of, you know, kind of disappointing and stuff like that. But it is what it is. I mean, I still think they're a very interesting legion stuff. So, I don't know. That's just me. So anyways, there we go. There is the video. Let me know, what do you guys think? What do you think about Emperor's Children, stuff like that? Do you agree that some of the writing on it is pretty bad? Do you agree that Games Workshop did kind of write themselves into a corner? You know, just let me know all your thoughts and comments. Which Traitor Legion is your favorite? Let me know. So anyways, other than that, like I said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, hit that thumbs up button. That'd be awesome. Remember, feel free to subscribe to my channel. Follow me on social media. Links in the description box below. Come join me over on Discord. We can talk more 40k and stuff like that. Suggest videos for me to watch, because I'm always looking for new videos to watch. I do feel bad about just watching so many, you know, Major Kill and West Hammer videos all the time. As good at videos as they do, I just feel bad of, you know, just watching just those two channels over and over again. You know, I mean, I thoroughly enjoy both their videos and stuff, but I kind of want, you know, someone else to watch, so I'm not just watching the same two over and over again. So, you know, if you guys have any other recommendations and stuff like that, I'd love to hear them. But yeah, other than that, yeah, just stick around. More videos are on the way, and I will see you guys next time.